أيا طالب العلم قم لا تنم، فإن الزمان انقضى وانصرم، فكن ما حييت ضنينا به، فظنك بالوقت عين.
Okay, so how about, okay, now you've, that whole experience finished, has happened. Why Jamia Islamiyah? Why?
I never even thought that I would see Medina. It was not even in my head. I went back to Jamaica, like I said. I'm there. I'm trying to indulge in the community, get to know them. They get to know me. I'm a stranger. I speak English, New York slang, New York walk, everything, and they Jamaican. So it was just like a little barrier, you know. And I heard about a program that was in Guyana, which still exists, where they, have like Islamic Institute, and you can go there and you can learn the basics, And I actually signed up because I was told that Jamia Islamiyah, they have an age barrier. Age thing where it's like you have to be less than 25 years old.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think I was 27, 28. So I was like, well, it doesn't make any sense. Let me just look into going to Guyana. I actually got accepted to the program in Guyana. At the time, there was some issues. They were supposed to renovate and some other crazy stuff. I also found a lady, started talking to her, got to get engaged with her, and then had a plan to get married. Got married, and the whole program thing just disappeared. Later on, a student, which was the son of the Imam at the time, the Imam's name is Musa Tijani, he's from Nigeria. His son, Ibrahim, was a student. When he came to visit, he brought the paper application. And he gave some of the people, I took one, and my wife was like, yo, Walaikum salam. Like, yo, you have to make sure you give it to him. I was like, okay. I was procrastinating. She was like, no, make sure you give it to him. And alhamdulillah, I gave it to him before he returned. He submitted it. And
at the time, did you know anything about Medina? Did you know what?
I didn't know. I did not know nothing about Medina to Munawwara. Nothing about that part of Islam, Nothing. Because I was like, listen, let me just learn about who Allah is first. And then I get to know about who Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is. Not what people might think in the form of disrespect, but a hadith, because at that time, like I said, people were saying anything. So you didn't. But I got to understand what is a hadith, what is, the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions, and etc. So I didn't know anything about Medina and Mecca. I just prayed to Allah that I get to go there, make Hajj, because this was like the main thing. I was like, asking Allah, can I fulfill all the rights of, the pillars of Islam? I only got one left. And I asked Allah to allow me to fulfill that one left, So that's the main thing that I was praying for, like to go there to make Hajj. It wasn't really about, going, but Allah, he knew that I wanted to also seek knowledge, become better in my religion, because you come around a lot of Muslims that claim this and they claim that, and they don't have knowledge. They speak from their desires. Where I was at, there are some Tablighi Jamaats that used to come around. And then one of them was telling me I can't make Raka to the Tahiyatul Masjid when the Imam is standing. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? He's like, I'm going to make Tahiyatul Masjid. He's like, no, sit down, sit down. I was like, no, I'm gonna make the 2 rakats. So after that, he's trying to tell me, oh, you know, you young guys that think you know it all and this. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? It's inside Muslim. So I had to be patient, and I went to one of the imams and I asked him, and he confirmed it to me. So I was like, why is this guy trying to tell me it's not permissible? And that's when, you know, you get to realize that, you know, there are people and there's groups that speak upon their desires. They don't have and they don't follow the right protocol of acquiring knowledge. So, alhamdulillah, I got accepted. I was around 29 years old. And it was just like, that was a test.
SubhanAllah.
Because you brothers from England and America, y'all don't know that half of the brothers to be accepted from South America, the Caribbean, Fiji, Indonesia, China. It's a whole different thing, you know. So it was a big trial for us. And alhamdulillah, from 3 of us, or was it 4 of us? I think it was like 5 of us that got accepted. Only 2 of us made it there. And I wanted one brother to come along so much, you know, his father was begging me, and I tried, but, you know, this is what I said was the qadr of Allah. And alhamdulillah, I made it there with another brother. I think towards the beginning of 2010, it was December.
Obviously,
and that's
difficult for you guys in terms of doing the whole visa application, right?
I tell you, but it was horrible. It was like a nightmare. You know, we went to Caracas, Venezuela. We didn't know anything. We didn't know Spanish. We went there. We thought we'd have got through quick and easy. It took us some extra days. But guidance, as I said, from Allah as well, us being there, another brother from what's that country he's from? Our next Caribbean country, I forgot it. But he needed a document, and we had the document. So we showed him what the document was. He contacted his people back home, so he was able to get the document, and, you know, made the procedure easy for him. I didn't have my high school diploma, and the only copy I had was in Jamia Islamiyah. And alhamdulillah, the brother, may Allah reward him, you know, Hassan Marlon Miller, he went to the office, he got the copy, he sent it to me. I think it was Abdullah, I'm not too sure which one it was, but they went and they got the document I needed, and we sitting there like, this was like after 2 or 3 times going to the embassy. And I never forget the lady, may Allah give her istiqamah upon Islam, Ameen.
Ameen.
But she wasn't really practicing. And I say that because she asked me to make dua for her. So I'm still making dua for her. She was helpful, and she was like, listen, you need this and you need that. So that last time, I was just sitting there and I was making some serious adhkar. And I was just making dhikr like da 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 da. And alhamdulillah, I said, if she come back here, she said, I'm prostrating on this floor right now. She's like, that's it. And I was like, what you mean that's it? She's like, that's it. You got it. I dropped straight to the ground. Alhamdulillah, we made preparation to leave Caracas, Venezuela, and go Saudi Arabia.
That must have been emotional, bro.
Bro, the next problem was when we reached Saudi Arabia, it was like, who's picking us up? Like, who's going to help us get to the university? You don't know Arabic.
Did you know anyone there, though?
Yeah, but as I said, this was not when, this is 2020. When did all this social media, WhatsApp and all that started? This was before all of that stuff, marhaba. So it was marhaba. So it was kind of difficult, So alhamdulillah, we finally reached there. We actually took a taxi with the next brother who knew Arabic. We just reached there because the brothers from our countries, they was in Mahad. So it wasn't like, they knew a lot of stuff. So it was crazy, but guidance from Allah's Raja. This is the ultimate, ultimate truth, the ultimate haq. Allah's guidance is with us. It's just mankind. Just like I met an individual yesterday, he asked me, "How do you know the truth?" I was like, you have to understand that there's only one God, and he hasn't left us without any form of, proof and evidence. There has to be proof and evidence. Intellectually, he has given us signs amongst us to see that there has to be a God. After that, what else? There has to be proof and evidence. Where's the revelation? What revelation that establishes itself on this earth right now? Okay, you guys say the Bible. Okay, read the Bible. Is in the Bible nothing but truth? Is there any form of contradiction? Is there any form of how would you call it? Statements which are doubtful, and all these other stuff, So I was like, you have to, look towards that which within it there's no form of crookedness. And I showed them ayat from ayat, and I was telling them, listen, right here, Surah Al-Kahf in the beginning, where he said he sent down this book to his servant, there within it there's no crookedness. And he was like, thank you, because no one else, this is like the first time I actually seen someone reading the Quran to me. He was like, no one else actually did that. I was like, this is the book where there's no form of misguidance. So the Most High, he has left this with us, The Bible, or should I say the previous scriptures, left men in charge to preserve it. They went with their desires and their nafs, and they sold what they sold, only for, this worldly gain,
SubhanAllah. Wow, amazing, man, amazing. Listen, Abdushakoor, I don't want to ask you the same questions I've asked the brothers because it's going to get boring. We've spoken about da'wah to the brothers and kulliyat. I want to know about specifically your journey. How was your journey in them years that you spent in Jamia Islamiyah? What did you go through the downs? How did you overcome it with the help of Allah, of course, without a doubt? Tell us a bit about that, Akhi.
As you can see, I took a long breath.
I know, Akhi. I know, bro. I was there for some of it, but
I don't think anybody who views this will understand what we have to say. We're not speaking ill against the university. We're just speaking of our trial and tribulation, and it wasn't easy. Yes, it is Saudi Arabia. Yes, it's Medina. But like one brother told me, some people have this like reality shock. It's not paradise. It's not paradise. It's the dunya.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things within it that's correct, and there's a lot of things which still needs, to have adjustment. Trying to make this short, the whole process was a journey, a big trial. From the classes, as I said, not knowing Arabic, not knowing how to speak, being in the Mahad. Hold on. It's a little kid crying. So, being in the Mahad, not knowing Arabic, not knowing Arabic, and then being with students who knew Arabic, that was a trial. Being with teachers that didn't understand the difference between the groups that was in the class, who favored mostly those who spoke Arabic, from in the infrastructure, administrations, you know, that didn't understand the need for the students who were like literally illiterate, you know, like needed some serious help, you know. To being among some brothers who didn't really help when they could have helped, you know. To being around an environment in which you can easily get misguided because there's so many different brothers, so many different individuals from different countries, different madhab, different madahib, different, aqidah, all of that stuff, you know. And as I said, go back to guidance from Allah Azza wa Jal, where it has to be the guidance from Allah Azza wa Jal that your niyat is salih. It is correct that you want guidance from Allah Azza wa Jal, and He's going to guide you towards that, and you're going to make it. Well, you're not going to get caught up in his beer, which exists. You're not going to get caught up in, you know, brothers that's just there for, you know, la'ib, you know, brothers who end up, you know, basically there just to look for wives, you know, brothers that end up looking, you know, just for work or etc. You know, so you'll find yourself actually where you're supposed to be as long as you're sincere and you're asking Allah Azza wa Jal for His complete guidance, you know, because it is from Allah Azza wa Jal foremost. So at that point, I went through all of that stuff. I sat with brothers from different mind, you know, like capacities. Some brothers was weak, didn't know nothing. Some was more intellectual than others, quick to grasp. Basically being with brothers who was on different levels of iman. Some was, you know, like, not to make it look bad, but yeah, some brothers, they were still thugs up in Java, you know. They didn't know what they was doing, you know. They was just there, you know. And I'm not gonna say the countries, you know, but they was there. I got to, you know, speak to some of them. And some of them was there because their parents signed them up, you know. So it was a lot of things, you know. But from the administration to everything, it was a trial and tribulation. You know. Some countries have special needs, like the Caribbeans, far distant countries and things like that. So it was difficult, you know. But by Allah's grace, His guidance, I was able to manage, you know, the struggle of family, you know, trying to, you know, convince you not to continue or swaying you not to go back. The long journey traveling every safe here, summertime, which was difficult, you know, immigration start pulling you over, customs want to speak to you. Next thing you know, you're being interrogated, you know, all of these different things, you know, that you go through. But at the end, by accomplishing it and finishing, you'll see the magnificent grace. You'll get to see something that is worth more than anything on this earth, bro. Because I was just talking to a brother earlier this morning, and the most beautiful thing that I achieved from finishing Jamiat Islamiyya is knowing what is the correct manhaj, the correct path, how to stay on it, who to go to in order to be firm upon it, you know. And our last class was for Aqidah was Manhaj Salaf al-Salih, you know, Manhajahum. And alhamdulillah, it was something which was very beautiful, you know, that we learned that the Manhaj al-Salih, I'm in so many different emotions right now where right now I feel like crying, but at the same time I'm trying to be strong, where it was just the way it was broken down is like we're supposed to be wasit, you know. Salaf al-Salih, their manhaj is wasit, you know. They're not they're between those who are extravagant and those who are, you know, what's the English word? Passive in a lot of things, you know. Those who chill, you know, take everything lightly, you know. Oh, Islam is like, you know, a rubber band, you know, it's stretchable, you know, it's this, it's that, take it easy. Oh, you know, it's just music, it's just nasheed. Oh, you know, it's just, you know, this and that, you know, they rapping about, you know, Juma, you know, so all is good. No, you know, and can't be on that menage and be like, oh, you know, you committed this, you committed that, you know, you did zina, haram aleykum, hellfire, you know, or you did this, you did that, oh, don't give them salam, we're not running with, you know. So we got to understand that the correct menage is to be al-wasit, you know, men farraga, men afraq, you know, bainahuma, you know, and then to get to know the principles of their aqidah and where they went off, you know, making tawassul, trying to get close to Allah in the wrong ways and the wrong means. And to be honest with you, after I took almost every examination for aqidah, when I went to Jeddah or Mecca, I came across somebody that was doing those stuff.
Wow.
I came across a Shiite that was doing tawassul with his sheikh, you know, that passed away. You know, I got to meet a Sufi that made his dua to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, he made his reliance upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was like, "Don't follow those guys. You're in the best place. Like you Medina." He was like, "Well, you're in trouble. Go there." I was like, "Allah Mustaan." And I was like, "Look at that. This guy's here in Mecca doing all the acts of ibadah, and it is the Prophet that he called on to in his dua. All of that, like sand on a flat, smooth stone on a windy day. Nothing." That is the main thing that I reflect and give thanks to Allah that alhamdulillah, at least I left the Jami Islamiyya with that much. I didn't become Hafid in Quran. I wasn't, you know, like mujtahid in that. I didn't leave memorizing this book or that book, but that was something which I left with, and I give thanks to Allah for that much.
May Allah preserve you. Would you do it again, Abdushakoor?
Do what?
Jamia Islamiyya from the beginning.
Of course, bro. And a lot of brothers, may Allah guide them, but everybody has their own story, you know.
Yeah.
And I was able to see certain things with a better perspective, you know, than other brothers. Because you got some brothers that used to look bad upon Jamia Islamiyya. They used to call that place all types of names. And I'm like, you have no clue. This is nowhere near anything in which you mentioned. You know, it's a struggle,
yeah,
but it is nowhere near close to some of the things in which they mentioned, you know. So it was a great honor to be accepted and Allah's guidance. And I have to keep on reiterating Allah's guidance because, like I told you, I spoke to a brother earlier. I even told him what I seen when I was in Masjid Nabawi. I crossed paths a group of students who were sitting in a halaqah, and I wasn't sure who the person they was taking ears to, but something just didn't feel right. Mind you, behind them was Sheikh Suhaimi, Allah yafadahu.
Ameen.
And he was talking about Tawheed. And they were sitting there in the halaqah, taking ears to an individual from America who is highly noted to being upon the manhaj sunnah, you know, and to being upon high status, you know, politics and all that stuff. I ain't gonna mention his name, but it was just a shock. It was a big shock. It's like, what are you doing? Allah brought you all the way here, and you're gonna sit with who? Like, are you guys insane? You have a muhaddith, which is like probably greater than Mount Uhud. You have, the Sheikh of Tawheed, Ali Nasser. You have, this Sheikh, Sheikh Shankiti. Allah yafadhahum. I mean, may Allah give shafaat to Sheikh Muhsin Abad. I mean, may he raise his son in high degree. I mean, this is the next thing that a lot of people don't understand. You have to know who the scholars are. And this is something in which I didn't know when I got accepted. Alhamdulillah, I thank Allah as well to get to sit with them, even if it was for a short time, and taking knowledge from them, hearing their advices and things like that. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Allah يحفظكم يا أخي الكريم. الله يحفظكم.
Amen.
Assalamu Aleykum, viewers. I hope you enjoyed that emotional and deep story with Brother Abdushakoor and his journey to Medina Munawwara. Keep an eye out for the last and final part of this amazing, beneficial interviews with Brother Abdushakoor. May Allah preserve him. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.